remote learners. This is Mrs. Childers, and it's Monday afternoon, and I'm re-recording Friday's class. And I don't need to give you the backstory of that, but you all know that Gmail was down, and there were just technical challenges all over the place. And so I am sending this to you on Monday, and really what I wanted to do was just review the concept of gerunds and gerund phrases and go over the homework. So I think you guys can see from here that a gerund phrase is that gerund plus any modifiers or complements. So let's just go over this quickly. In number one, the gerund phrase is in finding it's finding the way. You do not need to include the preposition. So this is an object of the preposition. That's what it's acting as. Shoveling coal is hard. That gerund phrase is acting as a subject. I prefer waiting for a bus. Waiting for a bus is the gerund phrase, and it's acting as a direct object. I prefer what? Waiting for a bus. And I guess I should point out that any words that modify or complement the gerund are part of that phrase. And it is that entire phrase that's acting as the direct object, waiting for a bus. He earns extra money by delivering papers. Delivering papers is your gerund phrase, and it is acting as an object of the preposition. Again, you do not need to underline the preposition. Constant worrying was her downfall, so that's acting as a subject. Let me just tell you right now that if the gerund comes before the verb, for our purposes, it will be the subject. So that's one little clue. Usually in a gerund phrase, it's the gerund itself that comes first, but when it's used as a subject, often it has modifiers in front of it. So constant is describing the type of worrying, and so that is part of the gerund phrase that is the subject. Okay, going to the rink tonight. So that is the gerund phrase, going where? To the rink, when? Tonight. Those are modifying going. Playing in the orchestra is the gerund phrase. It's acting as a direct object. In the orchestra answers where they're playing. You guys can get them. I'm filming now. Okay, so high and graceful jumping. Again, that's at the beginning, so it's serving as a subject, and high and graceful are modifiers describing what kind of jumping. And there's actually two here, so we've got figure skating, and that is the object of a preposition. And then number 9, studying astronomy and physics. So I like what? Studying astronomy and physics. And astronomy and physics describes what they like studying. That's being used as the direct object. And then finally in 10, finding a person who cares. That whole thing is the gerund phrase, and it's acting as a direct object. It's acting as a predicate nominative. So if it comes after a linking verb, it's probably going to be a predicate nominative. So those are the answers, and I want to quickly go over the diagramming. And I think I had done the first one. Oh, I don't remember. I'm going to go over all of these, okay? So you did have, so you need to take a question, put it in form of a declarative sentence. So use the subject, did have as the verb. You did have what? Difficulty. So that's your direct object. And then what kind of difficulty in finding the way? We have an adjectival prepositional phrase. We know it's adjectival because it answers the question, what kind? What kind of difficulty? So there's our preposition. Our object of the preposition is finding. But remember, it's that entire phrase that's acting as the object of the preposition. So our little picture, we zoom in and say, well, finding as a verb is going to help us know the other parts of the gerund phrase. So finding what way? Way acts as a direct object of finding. What kind of way? The way. So this is tricky. The more you practice it, the easier it is. Big picture, a gerund acts as a noun. But when we're diagramming the parts of a gerund phrase, you have to treat it as a verb. Okay? Okay, let's do number 2, shoveling coal. It's hard. So we said that's the subject. So shoveling. Big picture, it's a gerund. Little picture, shoveling what? Coal. Coal acts as the direct object in this gerund phrase. You have a linking verb and a predicate nominative. Number 3, I prefer waiting for the bus. So I is your subject, prefer is your verb. I prefer what? Waiting. So waiting is your gerund acting as a direct object. And then waiting where or waiting how for the bus. And I didn't draw my stilt high enough, so that prepositional phrase is coming beneath the skeleton, that horizontal line. And in general, you want to have it up there above. Okay. Number 4, he earns. He is the subject, earns is the verb. He earns what? Money. So you're getting lots of practice at direct objects. How does he earn money? So this is one we corrected in class. Because it answers an adverb question, this actually should be under the verb. So how does he earn? By delivering papers. Delivering is the object of the preposition. But then, little picture, we treat it as a verb. Delivering what? Papers. So that acts as the direct object of the gerund phrase. Okay. There's a couple little things here that I corrected orally, and I haven't corrected them here, so bear with me. Number 5, so constant worrying is the beginning of the sentence. That's going to be the subject. So worrying is the gerund. Notice that constant comes off of that gerund, and really in retrospect I should have put it up here so it didn't drop behind the line. Was is our linking verb, downfall is the predicate nominative. Okay, 10. We intended what? Going where? To the rink. And going when? Tonight. That actually just needs to come off of going, okay? And I think we're missing the. So going to the rink tonight. So I just want to point out here, part of being able to find a gerund phrase is there are words that don't go with the other verbs. So we wouldn't say, we intended to a rink. We intended tonight. Like those are words that clarify the word going. That's part of how you can tell that they're a gerund phrase. Number 7, I's the subject, stopped is the verb. I stopped what? Playing. Okay, where did I stop playing? In the orchestra. Just to remind you, it doesn't matter whether it comes off of the first step or the second step. But I should have my stilts higher. Okay, and then this one was fun. So jumping, the high and graceful jumping. Jumping's our subject. And then high and graceful are describing jumping. And we're going to have a ... and right there. Okay, that's all part of the gerund phrase. Was is your linking verb. Jumping was what? Goal. Whose goal? Her goal. What kind of goal? In. And then we have figure skating. That's the object of the preposition. It's adjectival because it describes what kind of goal. And by the way, this is not skating that is figure. Figure skating is an activity in and of itself. So that would be on one line. Okay, almost done with this. Let's do 9. So I's the subject, like is the verb. I like what? Studying. Now this was really mean, and yet it's kind of cool also. So big picture, studying is acting, studying astronomy and physics is acting as the direct object. Little picture, we're going to treat it as a verb to determine the parts of that gerund phrase. So I like studying what? Astronomy and physics. This has a compound direct object. Okay, so you have stilts and a rocket ship. How special is that? Okay, and then number 10. I didn't give this to you guys, but I want to show it to you because I think it's kind of cool. So happiness is your subject and is your linking verb. So you know that all of that comes after is a predicate nominative. But it's also predicate nominative with a dependent clause. There's an adjectival clause, a who-which clause. So finding, we know this is the predicate nominative, but now we've got to find the parts of the phrase. So finding is our, we're going to treat it as a verb, finding what? Finding person, a person. I should have a under that. And then we've got this dependent clause that says who cares. So notice dot, 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 but this is still supposed to stay above your horizontal skeleton line, okay? Okay, I won't give you anything that difficult on the quiz. So let me let you look at my Christmas tree while I talk to you because I don't know how to flip this around mid-tape. So that's gerunds, and tomorrow we're going to have a Zoom class, and so you can ask me any questions about that. I'm also going to put a worksheet up that I think it'd be helpful for you to do. It's not required, but it will help you for the quiz that you guys are going to have on Thursday. So I think it says Wednesday on Google Classroom. I've pushed it off for my other classes, and so I will push it off for you all also. So I hope this helps, and I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thank you for your patience with the technological difficulties. And, oh, one more thing. With your paper, today we talked about writing an intro, and on Friday, really all we did was revise the outline, okay? So tomorrow you'll work on writing an intro, the next day a conclusion, and right now you really should be working on body paragraphs. Okay, thanks guys, we'll see you tomorrow, bye.